judiciary, appointing nearly 300 justices and judges, and 3 great Supreme Court justices to interpret the law and Constitution as written. You know, many presidents never get the opportunity to appoint a Supreme Court justice. I had 3. They are going. They are not happy about that. And maybe we'll get 3 or 4 more. Can you imagine? Let's get 7. Let's have 7 or 8 or maybe even 9. And yesterday, as an example, they ruled, such a big ruling, to set our country back on a merit-based system of education. You mean that we'll have report cards again? I don't know, maybe some of you do this, but how about these schools where you don't get marks? The kids come in, oh, how you doing in school? I don't know. Are you a good student? Yeah, I guess so. How do they compare you with the other students? I don't know, they don't give us any marks. We just sit there. We finish. Does anybody in this room have that system? I don't think so. But a lot of people do, a lot of schools do. In other words, what they did yesterday, if you've worked hard, gotten fantastic marks, done well on all of the other various things that you have to do well on, somebody that hasn't done nearly as well, who perhaps has not worked as hard, will not be taking your place on a school, college, or university roster any longer. Today, the Supreme Court, this is today. Today, the Supreme Court also ruled that President Biden is not allowed to wipe out hundreds of billions and perhaps trillions of dollars in student loan debt, which would have been very unfair to the millions and millions of people who paid their debt through hard work and diligence. Very unfair. That was just a way for a crooked guy, as crooked as a $3 bill. I used to say $2 bill, but they've made a few of them. Now he's a crooked guy. We have a crooked president. We have a corrupt president, very corrupt. But this was a way of trying to buy votes. That's all it was. They also gave religious liberty, as you know. You saw the decisions today, a tremendous win. Religious liberty got a tremendous win today. This was a big 2 days. And there were other things, too. This was a big 2 days. They said these are things that will never happen, and they've happened. And people are very impressed. Not to mention the fact that almost exactly 1 year
and
ago,
business success. Thank you, and I look forward to an evening of fruitful discussions and positive outcomes.
And moving back all of this information and vote to the states, which legal scholars and many others always felt that's where it should be. That's where it should be, back to the states. And now people that believe in life will be able to stop the radical left Democrats from killing babies in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and even after birth. You saw that with the governor of Virginia.
We have both commercial banks with us during that period, that is the PCGC financing period. So we have our National Bank of Dominica and we have Republic EC. So we would like to welcome them. They're both represented here. And now we're going to call on the president of the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, Brenton Hilaire, to give us some remarks.
Good afternoon. I know we have more energy than that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. When we speak about things related to money, we should be excited.
I know.
To our esteemed guests and technical members from PCGC, to partners who are supporting the process in Dominica of banks, National Bank of Dominica, Republic Bank, to the entrepreneurs who may be considered as the most important persons here, and to the media persons watching online, good afternoon again. I want to thank everyone for gathering here today as we embark on a journey of what I would call exploration in I've seen in some cases it is as high as 60%. Now, at the core of any resilient economy lies a robust MSME sector. It serves as the bedrock of stability and economic resilience. As we navigate through the complexities of global markets and economic uncertainties, it is the flexibility and adaptability inherent in small businesses that act as a stabilizing force. A thriving MSME sector provides a diversified economic landscape less susceptible to the shocks that larger industries might face. Now, let us explore the cornerstone of societal well-being, job creation. Small businesses, as they grow, become engines of employment, offering opportunities to individuals seeking to contribute to their communities. The impact is not just on the numbers, but on the lives of our citizens. As we foster an environment where businesses flourish, we simultaneously create avenues for economic empowerment, lifting individuals and families out of unemployment and out of poverty. Innovation is the lifeblood of progress. Small businesses, often characterized by their agility and willingness to embrace change, are natural incubators for groundbreaking ideas. The MSME sector, when nurtured and when supported, becomes a crucible of creativity and ingenuity. It is here that new technologies are developed, novel approaches are pioneered, and our nation distinguishes itself as a hub of innovation on the global stage. It should be noted that beyond economic contributions, the MSME sector weaves itself into the social fabric of our communities. Small businesses sponsor local events, support charitable causes, and create spaces for communal gatherings. The success of these enterprises is intertwined with the success of the communities they serve. It is a symbiotic relationship where the prosperity of businesses mirrors the vitality of our neighborhoods. Economic inclusivity is not just a buzzword. It is a fundamental principle that underpins a fair and equitable society. The MSME sector plays a pivotal role in breaking down barriers to entry, providing opportunities for women, youth, and marginalized groups to participate in entrepreneurship. A diverse and inclusive business landscape is not just a moral imperative, it is an economic imperative that ensures sustained growth and stability. Therefore, I would like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation, known as, who can say it now? Right, you caught on quickly, for them pioneering this initiative. The partial guarantee scheme that they have introduced is more than a financial instrument. It is a catalyst for transformative change within our MSME sector. Equally commendable is the crucial role that the National Bank of Dominica and the Republic Bank plays in executing this initiative within our borders. As we stand on the cusp of a new era with the push of the partial guarantee scheme in Dominica, envision the transformative power it holds for our MSME sector. By bolstering the financial capabilities of small businesses, we are not merely opening doors, we are tearing down walls, creating pathways for unprecedented growth and prosperity. We are equipping entrepreneurs to either invest in a new business idea or to either expand on a current one. It would be remiss of me to not acknowledge the tenacity of the small business owners present here today and any other who operates in our market. Entrepreneurship is a journey fraught with challenges, but it is also a journey filled with opportunities. Your resilience, creativity, and unwavering dedication are the driving forces behind the success of our MSME sector in Dominica. As we look to the future, let us not merely see it as a continuation of the present, but as an era of transformation and unparalleled growth. Picture a nation where every entrepreneur, regardless of the size of the business, is empowered to thrive, not just survive. Envision a landscape where the success of small business translates into a flourishing society. Fellow entrepreneurs, esteemed guests, this initiative that we are celebrating here today is not confined to this moment. It is a stepping stone towards a future where opportunities abound, where dreams are not just realized, but where dreams are surpassed. Today is not just about building businesses, it is about building a legacy that future generations will inherit. I encourage each and every one of you to seize this moment with a sense of purpose and determination. This town hall is more than just a gathering. It is a platform for exploration, collaboration, and mutual growth. Engage in discussions, ask questions, and forge connections with fellow entrepreneurs and the team of PCGC, National Bank, and Republic Bank. The power of collaboration cannot be overstated, and it is through collective efforts that we will propel our MSME sector to new heights. In conclusion, the impact of a vibrant MSME sector extends far beyond economic metrics. It touches the lives of individuals. It shapes communities and defines the character of our nation. Do not see this partial guarantee initiative as only being about business. See it as a future where opportunities abound, where dreams are realized, and where the prosperity of our people takes center stage. Fellow entrepreneurs, once again, seize this moment with a sense of purpose. Your endeavors are not only about building businesses, they are about building a better future for all of us. Let us, hand in hand, embark on this journey towards a more vibrant MSME sector, knowing that the destination is not just economic success, but a society where every citizen thrives. May the path ahead be illuminated with the promise of prosperity for your businesses, for our communities, and for our nation as we leverage the opportunities that arise from this partial guarantee initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenton. Remember I said that both commercial banks, they're involved in that Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Corporation initiative. So the Republic Bank, so if you want to go ahead with Republic Bank, if you want to go ahead with National Bank, so both commercial banks are with us. Now we have a presentation from National Bank. So we're calling on Nayana George to give us her presentation. So we have National Bank and Republic Bank. They're both here. You can access the facility from both institutions, okay?
Good afternoon to everyone. It's a bit off. It's a bit off. I didn't know this part. See if I did guide. It's too wide. I want you to. Go in that direction. Okay, so it's okay. I will just try and look at it. Yeah. Okay, so a pleasant good afternoon to everyone. My name is Nyana George, and I am a credit officer at the National Bank of Dominica. And today, what I'm going to do is to guide you on this loan offer so that you can better meet your business streams. As you heard, the PCGC is an agency that provides partial credit guarantees to financial institutions like the National Bank of Dominica on behalf of you, whether it is micro, small, or medium enterprises who needs to borrow monies for your businesses. This agency provides to us at National Bank a guarantee of a certain amount that is going to be used as collateral for you, the borrower, who does not have the security that is required for the loan. Next. Okay, so how does it work? What we are here to tell you is that we are asking you to seize the moment and visit us with the required documentation. What the bank does, we will do an assessment that will determine whether you qualify for the loan. So you would have to submit us with some requirements that I'm going to get to in order for this request. Thereafter, we'll submit it to the PCG for further decision. Of course, your loan officer at the bank will liaise with you and guide you as to the progress of your decision. What conditions are there to be met? Of course, your business must be registered. The annual revenue that you make from your business must be no more than $2 million, and that's in Eastern Caribbean currency. The number of employees that are at your business must be less than 50, and the borrower must provide 10 to 25% equity in this project for which the loan is sought. The borrower must also provide collateral of 20 to 25% to the participating lender. Now, I know we have a list of requirements here, and of course, you may have challenges coming up with what is listed here. Some of your business may not be registered. Some of you may not have the collateral required. And so, we are here to tell you how we can assist with this. Okay, so I will open the floor for questions towards the end. Okay? So the requirements for PCG loan offer, of course, we have our internal forms that we'll need you to fill in. It's the basic application forms where you would do an application form for us, then you would submit to us a budget and statement of affairs. Documentary items would include your income information, your financial statements for your business for at least 2 years if your business already exists. These financial statements include your income and expense statement, your balance sheet, cash flow projections for 3 years. Business registration documents, we will give you credit reports to find out whether it is that your business has any loans elsewhere. The security of loan, which is the collateral aspect, 20 to 25% of what it is you're applying for, and an invoice or performers for whatever it is that you're looking to purchase for your business. As I had mentioned earlier, of course, we expect that there are challenges, some of which includes that your business is not registered. Another common challenge might be that you do not do record keeping, meaning you have no financials, no cash flow documents to present to the bank. Another challenge you might face would be that there is a mix in your personal and business financial affairs. Excessive usage of business funds for personal reasons, your business projections that are not based on the history of the company. So that is something that we are seeing and that you are unable to explain how the projections that are outlined in your financials will be proposed. Some other challenges, that you are not depositing the business proceeds into the bank, hence going back to the original reason of not having financial records, and you don't have any invoices to provide for the items that you would like to purchase. In the event where you have to import items, we don't receive invoices for this freight and import duties. Lastly, that you don't have a complete understanding of what the loan process is. So that is really our stand here today to assist you with that. What the National Bank of Dominica is proposing, of course, we have recruited a technical consultant that will work with you, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, to complete your applications. There is also an accounting firm that will assist with your financial records. So I am hoping that you guys, those who do not have financial records at present, that you have some form of record, whether it's deposit through the bank, whether it's receipts that you keep for your small businesses, that you would be able to take to an accounting firm for further analyzing. And recruitment of a PR firm to do a tailored promotion for this program. Of course, we at NBD welcome you with your questions, and we hope that we can guide you through the process so that you can make your business dreams a reality. Do you have any questions? I remember you. Go ahead. Repeat your question, please. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we speak of collateral, we are speaking towards the security for the loan. So what it is, you would have to come up with that amount to secure your loan. Some people use land papers, you may have cash, you may have some other type of asset. And of course, everything is on a case-by-case basis. So we urge you to speak to us so we can analyze and further guide you as to what exactly you will require for your case. So of course, nobody's situation is the same. So we would like you to come in to speak to us so we can further help you in that regard. Okay? Okay. So, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm just going to assess this because some of the initiatives that I mentioned came through ECPC. So the 10 to 25% equity injection is your contribution to the project. Your contribution to the project. I mean, how much money are you going to put into the project? You need to have some skin in the game, right? So we are providing 75 to 80% of the security required. You need to provide some injection into the project. And the injection
can take different forms. It's not normally cash. An example is if you've just started a business, you're 3 months in, you would have made some injection into that business, whether it's you bought some, if you're catering pots and pans or packaging or whatever, we would look at that. And as Diana said, it's on a case-by-case basis. So don't get intimidated by what has been put before you. There are ways that we can work around some of the strictures of the guarantee program to ease the process for the entrepreneur. Well, you actually do need both. However, during this period from now until the end of December, during our promotion, and which I will speak in a little while, we are waiving the requirement for the equity injection, that skin in the game bit, at 10%. We are waiving the requirement for that. But even if you don't have it, sometimes when you get together with a banker and the banker gets together with us, we can say, okay, so you have some more in this area, we can relax a little bit in that area and so on. So it's not cast in concrete, there's some room for flexibility. For me? Oh, yeah.
So the interest rate is at 5.5%. Is there another question? Okay, so the term is dependent on the client. Okay? What is the? It's dependent on the client. When you come in to speak to us, we can. Say that, please.
What's the minimum and what's the maximum? In general.
Okay, so normally 180 months, about that. That's about 15 years.
You can get up to a maximum of 15 years.
I'm saying that it's a range.
Yeah.
Okay? Go ahead. Okay, so she's going to enlighten you on this.
Thank you for the question. The accounting services and the PR administrative of ECPCGC, and it's offered across the board to all the banks on the island. What happens is that we have found that there are some clients who have good ideas, but they may have receipts and invoices, but they don't have it in a particular order that we can use to do the assessment. So we have hired a couple of accountants on each island, and for the first set of financial statements, we would pay for that, provided that the client is going to go ahead and get a loan and get a guarantee. So the first assessment of the bank would determine whether the client is in good standing, has met other requirements, etc., except that he doesn't have the financial statements in the format that we need it in. And that is when the bank would come to us and say, ECPCGC, we have a client who's going to be able to get a guarantee, but we just need to get the financial statements in a particular order and so on. So we would say, okay, we're going to send you to our accountant, and then that deal is done. With regard to the PR firm, we have been in existence since we launched in 2020, and then COVID came and just wiped us away. And we're now trying to scramble to find our way back to help you guys, the entrepreneurs in each island. And we found that there is a little bit of unawareness of some people of the program. And this is why we decided to roll out a set of PR initiatives, which will happen next year, so that they'll probably be coming around to the various islands and talking to you and doing some more information consultations and so on. It's going to take varied forms depending on what's happening in each island. Thank you. Is that for me?
Go ahead, yeah.
Yes.
I'm a visual person, so someone has a fantastic idea. Need $100,000 between the skin in the game and the.
Okay, so you have an idea and you need 100,000. we ask that the business has started, and there's a reason for that. The business has been in operation for at least 3 months, and there's a reason for that. The reason is that startups have a very, very high failure rate of over 75%. In some instances, we could look as if you are producing something and you have contracts from not men of straw, but from, merchants and so on who we can get money from if necessary. We can look at that. But generally speaking, you must have started, no matter how small you started, because we want to be able to see, A, that you know your market, B, you can generate revenue, C, you can pay your expenses, because you need to be able to meet your expenses to be able to repay the loan. There is no bank that is going to give you a loan if there's not the ability to repay the loan. So there are some ways of working around it. Sometimes you could get a guarantee from the owners and so on, but generally speaking, you need to have started for at least 3 months and shown us your track record. Yes, question? Okay, so I'm going to do a presentation in a little while, but to go in a lot more in depth into what Diana did. She's doing it from the banking side, and I'm doing it from the side of the funding agency. But there was another question.
So the question again is there limitations? So my question is there limitations on what the funds can be used for? So, for example, is it strictly for operational? Is it strictly for buying equipment and material? Could it be used even for capital, like a capital building or something to be put up a structure? And then the next question is there a limit in terms of the time to get started? So you talked about 3 months in already, but let's say you're 3 months in, but you've just sort of got the things off the ground, but you've not actually had a roof project, for example. Is there a limited amount of time that you have before you can actually be up and operating and fully functional to be eligible?
Okay, so I will deal with those questions in my presentation, but just in summary, there really is no limit on what you can do once it's to grow the business, and we can see that we can see the loan is going to be down to the success of the business in terms of increased revenue. So in terms of the startup, once you've started to see some sort of revenue stream, and we can see that you know your market, so you know what to do to gain more revenue, you know what your expenses schedule is like, we can talk to you.
Okay, so what we are going to do, because we realize we have a lot of questions for you. So I would like a loan with PCGC, me too, I too. But my issue is that I do not keep records. So I have my own small business. I do my thing, I get money pass in my hand, and then I take it and do a little traveling. So I know what it is. I'm not there pretending like as if, and that is many of us. That's our issue. We have our small business, we are making money, but we use the money to do a lot of personal stuff, and we do not keep records. I mean, I want to know in what format you want the financial statements, because come January 2024, I am going to give my financial statements. So all of what I spend, all of the money I make, I just want to know the format, because when you all come back in the next quarter, I want to be part of that PCGC financing. So now I'm going to call on Carmen with your presentation. Yes. Thank you very much, Eliana. So Carmen, just tell us a little more about PCGC and the financing, so many of us can start putting our house in order come 2024.
Thank you for the advanced questions. Thank you, Schumer, for your introduction, and thank you all for being here and being a very engaged audience. So let me tell you all about ECPCGC. It's going to be a little bit of repetition with what Diana said, but it's going to go in a little bit more detail because on the agency side, we have a lot more information than on the banking side. So we are a guarantee corporation, and a guarantee is a promise that we make to the banks, Republic and NBD, to provide a certain amount of money as security for your loan. Something about the loan. The loan must be a business loan, so we must see growth of the business after you get the loan. The loan, so there are three parties in this agreement. One, the borrower, yourselves. Two, the banker, Republic and NBD. And the three, the agency. So it's a tripartite arrangement. It's a proper contract between the bank and ourselves, and a proper contract between yourself and the bank, so that if you don't pay, the full force of the bank will be behind you. It's not a grant. So we have three basic products. The Classic, which is the original product that was founded in 2020 when we launched. And then we realized that COVID had come and we could not really move the Classic product because it's really a product for normal times and bigger businesses. Then we went back to the drawing board and we designed in conjunction with World Bank, the Working Capital Guarantee, which is designed to help MSMEs through the post-COVID period. And originally, we were going to issue it for 12 months, but it's very popular, so we're going to continue issuing that one. And then we have the Startup Guarantee, where we designed to assist new entrepreneurs, and it was also going to be issued for 12 months, and we are continuing that one as well. And the reason why we introduced those two was because our bankers were telling us, you know, the Classic is, the terms are a little bit onerous. So we need to help the people in this bad time where they're trying to climb out of COVID. Some of them have closed down, no customers. So that's why we did a Working Capital Guarantee. And the Startup Guarantee, some people got laid off and they had side hustles that they brought into mainstream. So that's why we did the Startup Guarantee. So those are our three main products. We have a fee of 1.5% payable on the amount of the guarantee, not on the amount of the loan, on the amount of the guarantee. And before anybody asks us why there's a fee, we have to get paid, just like you. So the Classic Guarantee, we have a loan maximum of $750,000. So it's really for kind of a larger business. And we guarantee 75% of that loan to a maximum of $562,500. The equity injection required is 25%. And the collateral required is 25%. So the security, we put 75%, you put 25%. Equity injection is to show that you have some skin in the game, that you would not run away and leave us with a loan that we have to pay. So it's critical for you to have that. The tenor of the guarantee, meaning the length of a guarantee, it goes as long as the bank will allow it to go. It can be 5 years, it can be 3 years. It depends on what it is for. It depends on your relationship with the bank, because the banks are our gatekeepers. They lend the money, and therefore they are going to dictate the terms. We dictate the collateral. The Working Capital Guarantee, this is a very popular guarantee. People who they have sort of run up expenses during COVID. They want to restock and so on. This is a loan with a maximum of $200,000. Why only $200,000? Because it's just a short-term facility to get you back on your feet. Therefore, we're just going to invest $200,000 in that, and we would guarantee $168,000 or 80%, and the injection required is 10%. Now, we know that people were coming through COVID, and they did not necessarily have the 20%. So what we've done is we told our partners, the banks, you can take 10% to start off with, and you can build put a little account and build little by little until the 20% is reached. But it doesn't mean that you won't get the loan if you don't have the 20%. So there's a little bit of ease in that for you. Because it's a short-term loan, we go to 5 years, and the business must be more than 2 years in operation. We also offer another condition. Depending on your business and the state of your finances, we can do a moratorium on the principal payment of 1 year. So for the first year, you could pay interest only until you get yourself in gear, and then you start to pay the full repayment. Again, it is the bank is going to decide that fee because they know your business better than we do. The startup guarantee, you can use this for a range of purposes: working capital, inventory, investment, expansion, overdraft. And we were going to offer it only until next year, but we are going to carry it on because it's a little bit popular. The loan maximum is $100,000. This is for a reason, because startups have a very high failure rate, so we don't want to take too much risk, but we want to be able to assist budding entrepreneurs. So it's $100,000, and we will guarantee $80,000 or 80% of that. The injection on this one is 10%, and the collateral required is 20% with the sinking fund that I just referenced. You can bring 10, we open an account, and you put a little bit every month into that account until you have the full 20%. But you would get the loan if you don't have the full 20%. The debt service ratio, let me tell you a little bit about that. The debt service ratio is something we use to determine whether a client can repay a loan. So we look at your revenue stream, all your income, we look at all your expenses and your loan repayment. If you can clear that and have about 10% extra, then you're good. That means that you have at least a 1.1 debt service ratio. Some banks ask for 1.2%, but we would take a 1.1%. The guarantee on this, the tenor is 10 years because you want to ease the repayment for the new business. And the business, 3 months to 2 years. So if you fall into any one of those brackets, you can come in for a startup loan, even though you have started and in operation for more than 3 months. If you were doing it for a year, we can see that you can fit into this particular category. So who are we pitching at? The program is open to business persons operating in the ECCU. We have 6 of the 8 countries. We have all except Anguilla and Montserrat because they're still under the British. The conditions, and I'm just echoing what Diana said, you must be registered. You must have an annual revenue of no more than 2 million EC dollars, although we have seen some businesses who operate in a highly cash way. They have more than 2 million, but you have to look. Again, I said it's a case-by-case basis. It's not all automatic. So we do look at that and see what the need is and so on. Number of employees, less than 50. In the years that we've been doing the guarantee, we've had nobody having even 25 employees. It's been about 10, maximum 10, 15. The borrower must provide 10 to 25% equity injection in the project, and the borrower must provide collateral of 20 to 25% to the participating lender. And we just talked about how we can get around that particular condition. Now, the reason why we've introduced this slide is because in our journey through the islands, we've been to St. Vincent, Antigua, St. Lucia. This is our 4th port of call. We have found that a lot of clients that we've spoken to, so we've done at least 25 face-to-face consultations in each island. I think in this one we did 26. And we have found that clients do not know how to become bankable. So they would say, well, I went to the bank and the bank would not talk to me. And it's because to get a business loan, you need certain things put in place. And I'm going to explain these things to you now. You need to register your business. You need to register with your NIS and tax authorities, because if you are employing people, you're going to need to make sure you pay your national insurance for them. Tax authorities, you need to have that down pat. You need to open a business account. I know people are running their money through personal accounts sometimes. If it's segregated, we could kind of give you a little blind, but the real thing is to open a business account. you need to engage in proper record keeping. Now, I have another slide on record keeping, but I would just preface it by saying that the good old notebook, it works. You can write it down. If you're not savvy with the electronics and stuff like that, the notebook works. You need to keep your receipts. You need to keep your invoices so that when you take all of these documents to an accountant to put it together, they have the raw material. So the notebook is the raw material, the invoice is the raw material, the receipt is the raw material. Those are the things that are going to tell the accountant what you're bringing in and what you're putting out, and then we could come and see what your profit is. Now, why do we want to know your profit? Your profit is very, very important to see the state of your business. We also need to see how you're using your cash to know whether you can repay the loan. Do not use business funds for personal reasons. I want to underscore that one, and I have another slide on that one again. Try to deposit all the business proceeds into the bank. Now, here's a classic case. The little corner shop. Getting in cash every day. The man in the van come and you want to buy some candy or something. So he opens the till and he pays it out of that. He's not recording what he's getting in. He's not recording how much money he paid the van salesman. So you have a situation where if he goes to deposit anything in the bank, it's not the full amount of the revenue, it's a net amount. So it does not give a true picture of what is happening in his business. The important thing is to try your best. If you have to keep the cash, daily cash together and go to the bank once a week and maybe put aside a float to pay the van salesman, do that. But we need to see correctly what you're earning and what you are expensing. If you neglect any of these, you would not be deemed creditworthy by the bank. And that's why we are having a problem, because people come and they don't meet all of those parameters. If they met some, the bank could work with you. If you don't meet any, the bank can't work with you. It's as simple as that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about record keeping. People told us, well, you know, the receipts fade. I don't really keep it, have it in a box or something. The thing you need to do, yes, they fade, but there's a smartphone. Take a photocopy, scan it, whatever you have. If you're interested in keeping your business, you would find ways and means to keep your records, right? Saying that it is faded is not good enough. Buy a receipt book or a notebook and write down every sale that you make. The good old note. I have seen people today, this week in Dominica, last week in St. Lucia, the week before that in another country. They come with a good old notebook, and it works. So you write down in a notebook, or there are notes on your smartphone, the name of the person you sold to, the quantity of products, the dollar value, and the date of the sale. Then you can group all of these by month. And if you can't do it, find somebody who can help you. It's very, very simple. Find somebody who can help you, but you must do the prep work. You can't just give somebody a box of receipts and say, hey, go through that and pull some statements on me. That won't work. So I want to make this one, I think, is the most critical of all. This one here. Business income versus personal income. We have seen people who start a business, they're making a little money, they want to go on a cruise. Cruise is a personal expenditure. They're taking their business money and they're going on the cruise. Or you want to get a souped-up car or souped-up van. You say the van is a business, I bet it's real souped-up. All the rims and the this and the that and the other. That's not spending money on your business. That's spending money on you, your personal desires. And what happens is that you see these things, the person going in and coming, flashing some gold and bling and all of that, and then the business is suffering. So when you come to the bank to get a loan, and they say you have so much revenue, but your bottom line looking slim, your cash, they have to ask the question, what it is going on. When they check you and they check what you're driving and what you're wearing, the latest and the greatest. So you have to be careful that you make sure the business money stays in the business. There is a stage when it's going to come later on down the road when you could pay yourself a decent income. But the start, you mightn't be able to pay yourself anything. But at some stage, if you keep on investing, you'll be able to pay yourself a decent salary, and then you can take out and spend it on whatever you want. That's your money. but the business funds must stay in the business. So what are these? Business income is revenue from the business, from which business expenses are paid, including the salary of the owner. Now, I know sometimes people say, well, you know, I don't take a salary. But when you check the statements, they're paying the rent, they're paying the child care, they're paying everything. That is salary. You may not think of it as salary, but every penny you spend on your personal household is a salary. And sometimes when you check it, it's more than you think it is, right? So your personal income is salary from the business or employment. Their personal income is personal. Sometimes people say, well, you know, it took a little while to get paid, so I used money from my savings or something like that. Okay, we understand that, but you need to write it. You need to separate the two all the time. So to end up this slide, the two should not be confused, and business funds should not be used to enrich the owner's lifestyle. Let me repeat that. Business funds should not be used to enrich the owner's lifestyle. Critical point. So once you're bankable, we had a slide before which showed you what you needed to become bankable. You need to set up an appointment with your SME officer, have your tax clearance letters, have your financial information available. Please do not go to the People Bank with a box of invoices. That's not acceptable. You need to get somebody to put that into a proper income statement, and then you can take that statement to the bank. So you can have someone prepare financial projections. Now, a word on projections. We have seen people making $50,000 a year. They want a $20,000 loan, and they come and tell us, well, you know, I'm going to make $100,000 next year. In what world? How is that possible? So we ask them, well, how do you relate the two? I can't see you going from 50 to 100 to just a loan of $20,000. So we ask people that even though you get somebody to do the projections for you, you sit with them and you talk to them and you talk through your ideas with them. You let them know what you want to do. And then there must be some sort of connection between the 50 and what it is you're going to make. It would not be 100. 50 to 60, okay. 50 to 65, okay. 50 to 75, not so great. We're going to look and see. Because you need to see what your projections are really based on what you're doing right now. Right? So that's how it's supposed to go. You have to be able to explain how you're going to achieve the projections. Some people to do some big business plans for them costing $5,000, and they can't tell you what is in the business plan. You also need to have quotations for the items you want to purchase. A lot of times you have to purchase from Amazon or from overseas, and we do not get the quotation for the customs bit of it. So we've had instances where when the item arrives on island, there's no money to clear it from customs. So we are trying to avoid that, and we ask for the import and the freight and the brokerage and all of that as part of the estimate of the things you want to purchase. And you must be prepared to disclose your personal information to the bank. So if you know you don't want your personal and people delving into your personal information, then I don't think you're a candidate for a loan. They must know. They want your statement of affairs because they want to know that the people's money that they are lending to you is safe, that you can repay it. And sometimes I ask clients, if you were a banker, would you lend for your own business? And if the answer is no, then you need to think again. Okay, so for 2023, from October to now, we have a promotion on, and we are softening some of the requirements until the 31st of December. We have asked the banks to work with us to do some reduction in the loan requirements. So we are waiving, remember that equity injection that you were asking about? We are waiving that. So you can come and get a loan. You don't need to have the equity injection of the 10 or 25%. If you do not have financials, which is what I was referring to a little while ago, and your loan looks good, the bank has done its first assessment and they think that the loan looks good, we can put you onto an accountant to get proper financials done for you, but you must have done the prep work and have your invoices in order, your receipts in order, and stuff like that. If you do not have a business plan and the bank requires one, now the bank doesn't always require a business plan. We have what you call a truncated version of the large business plan called the Lean Business Canvas that we use. It's a very much a simplified version of the business plan, and we can pay to have that done for you. But the important thing is that the bank must have assessed you and thought that you are ready for a loan, and then they would send the information to us, we would get it done at our cost. If your business is not registered now and you want to approach the bank for a loan, you can go ahead and do that, and we give you some time to get registered. So you can get the loan approved, you can get a guarantee approved, but it would not be, the funds would not be given to you unless you can provide proof of registration. Our collateral contribution remains unchanged at 75 to 80% of the loan amount. The other events which we had over the last 3 days would have been the face-to-face consultations to assess their readiness with small business owners to assess their readiness for guarantees. What we've been doing is we've been advising people what they need to do to become ready. We've asked some of them to send us information, and we would then take it to the bank and talk to our banking partners to determine what can be done in those instances. Some people have still to get themselves ready, get your documents in order, start separating their business from their personal accounts and so on. So there's a lot of work to be done on the ground. This is what we've discovered, not here only, in all the islands. A lot of people need to put themselves in a state of readiness before they can get to the bank. And this is a flyer that you would see on our Facebook page for this particular promotion. So I thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation. Questions? We can make the presentation available. Yes, ma'am.
The loan based on the employment of the person, or is the loan based on the business?
The repayments are based on the business itself, what the business can generate. However, we've had some requests to look at people's salaries, and we consider that as well. So it's not a case of just one or the other. We tend to look at both now, because we started off by saying, well, we won't look at your salary, but given the circumstances of some people, given the state of some businesses, it was more prudent for us to look at the entire situation.
Are there any special considerations given to the Kalinago people?
Yes. For the Kalinago people, we do not ask for land as collateral because it's communal land. So that is one of the conditions on which the fund is based. So we do not ask for that. We look, and we look at it on a case-by-case basis, but we would not ask for that particular requirement.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Is this program continuous? Because you keep saying that you extended it. So is this program going to be offered year over year over year?
Let me answer. No, it's ad infinitum. The time constraints that you saw were for the new products that we introduced, when you weren't sure what the landscape was like, and we sort of trying it out. But because we found them to be quite popular, we're going to be keeping them running.
Okay, next question. Are there any specific industries that are not included? So, for example, do you do for light manufacturing but not farming? Do you do for agro-processing but not farming?
We do for all of those. The only ones that are excluded, and that would be because of the World Bank, like casinos, gambling, and manufacture of liquor, like rum and heavy liquor, and also bars where the majority of the revenue stems from the sale of hard liquor. So hard liquor would be not beer or wine, would be like, what do you call it, BB rum?
And then the last one, hopefully the last question. Is there a max annual amount that you guys will guarantee per year per island? So for example, for Dominica, is it 10 million per year? Is it 5 million per year? Is it like a limit?
First come, first serve, wherever you be, whether you be Antigua, Dominica, or wherever. Once you have a loan, bring it. If Antigua is industrious and their entrepreneurs are on the ball, we're not going to penalize them. We're going to give them the guarantees. No, there is no maximum. No maximum. We have a fund of 12 million US dollars, some of which is going to be for recurrent expenditure to pay my salary and his salary and our travel and director and et cetera, right? And the balance of it, the majority of it is going to be to back the guarantees. We're not country specific because different countries are different stages of development. So while Dominica may need us now, Antigua may not need us right now, but later on they may need us. So it depends on where the country is in terms of its development. We accommodate anybody from any country, and we would work with people in all different sectors apart from those that I just mentioned. Okay.
So the PR aspect.
Yes. Okay, so when this program was designed, there was a thinking that the banks would promote everything about PCGC and that they'd put us in place and we would just distribute guarantees. It has not worked like that. I guess COVID, I guess a lot of other reasons. So because of the fact that we are not meeting the number of beneficiaries that we were targeting, we decided to do some a PR campaign. The drafts have now come across my desk, so I'm now looking at them. I've shared them with the World Bank and colleagues to see exactly what is going to happen. And because we are not meeting the targets, we are here as well in every island to meet with people to see what's really taking place on the ground, what is the state of readiness of our entrepreneurs to go to the bank, what they need, what they don't need, how do we need to maybe pivot and relax some of our requirements. So it's an information gathering exercise for us, which we would share with ECCB, our directors, and the World Bank, because we may have some changes coming in the program to be able to benefit even more people than we are benefiting right now. When I walk the streets of St. Vincent, we were in St. Vincent, sorry. When I walk the streets of Dominica, there's so much entrepreneurial activity going on. However, the level at which it is being pitched is at a micro level. So we need to determine whether we need to do something for the micro entrepreneur because the guarantee fits the one who's a little bit above that, you know. So we need to, so it's for us to look and see what is out there, and then we can go back to the table.
Just for ultimate clarity, the issue of the organization, not for the I think that's the issue.
Oh, okay. So the marketing, let me just go back a little bit to the marketing. The marketing is the firm was hired to do a marketing plan for the organization so that we can meet the needs of the people. Now, one of the needs is awareness. Not everybody is aware of what ECPCGC is all about, so that's one of the needs you're going to meet. The other need is, I guess, I'm talking ad-libbing here, but I'm thinking that we may have to work with our other partners in the islands, the business support organizations, the DAIC, the CDUs, the SBDCs, and so on, to pull them into the ecosystem so that they can better help the MSMEs who need the support and the hand-holding and so on.
Thank you. My question is, I heard the mention of technical support for the businesses. At what level is this going to be? Because over the years, I found that for reasons a lot of businesses except for what business. I think part of this is the banks, especially in the Caribbean. I find that a lot of
Okay, so the support is not sector specific. It's really geared towards people who need some assistance in pulling the business plan together so that they can go to the bank. And that person would have to do the necessary research into the sector that you are in to be able to guide you properly. It's difficult in support of the banks. It's difficult for them to be able to do this level of advice and technical support because their business really is to lend money. And I know that they have targets to meet and so on. So it's a difficult sell for them, which is the reason why we have teamed up and we'll be continuing our partnership with the business support organizations on island to be able to dispense that kind of technical support to MSMEs. We'll be doing some training of them, tell them what we look for, what the banks look for the guarantee program, and trying to bring them along to a stage where they can properly advise you.
The question is actually falls in line with the question that you just posed. So where it's fantastic that they're making changes and making accessibility better for small businesses. My question is around sustainability. So I think that's what this lady has posed as well. So what, not necessarily the banks, I wouldn't expect the banks to do that because their business is low, but in looking at what PCGC is offering, I would think that perhaps it would fall under the umbrella to provide sustainability training so that businesses cannot just get the loan, but that they can also continue to grow and to improve. So how does that work, or what other partnering agencies are involved in that? And the second part to my question is, earlier you mentioned that it's not a grant, and that being said, outside of the repayment of the loan, is there any other accountability that you would need to be as a business owner, as a business, throughout the term of the loan to continue to be eligible?
Okay, thank you for the questions. The first one on sustainability. ECPCGC is very lean staff. There are only 5 of us. It was never anticipated that we would actually do training ourselves, but that we would partner with agencies on island. They differ from island to island, that we would provide training for them and that the governance would provide capacity building, whether it's addition of new staff or whatever. And it's something that we are going to be reporting on once we finish this round of consultations. But that is the plan, that if you are on island, you know what the nuances of the island, what those are, and you can better advise somebody than if I'm in St. Kitts and you're in Dominica, I'm not quite sure of the landscape and so on. So that is sustainable. So we actually are going to initiate the process, but we're going to have somebody else take care of it. And we're going to monitor that. If it does not work, then we may have to put something else in place where we do have an advisory services or something, but the business is generally designed to be very lean because we want to be sustainable as well. The guarantees do not generate a lot of money for us. Our money is generated from investments right now, so we have to kind of walk a fine line in terms of how we spend and so on. This particular project is a big spend for us, but it is important for us to find out exactly what's taking place on the ground so that we can report back to our directors and to the World Bank. And the second question was, sorry. Okay, so we mind our business very, very well. So every month, our bankers get a note. Could you please send the balances report for X, Y, and Z guarantee? And they do it. And if we note that something is going a little bit off with one of the loans, we ask questions and we do an annual review. So we get together with our bankers and say, how is so-and-so doing for the past year? Do they have management accounts? Could you send us? We want to have a look-see. So we find all of that to make sure that our loans are in order, that they're proceeding well. Oh. Oh, no, no, no. You have to get your financials ready. Like once a year, once the first anniversary has passed, we would reach out to the bankers and say, "Yeah, the first anniversary of this guarantee has passed. Could we have a little huddle and talk a little bit about the loan?" So they would have your management accounts ready, not necessarily audited accounts, but management accounts ready. We take a look. We say, "Okay, everything good for another year."
Yeah. Yeah, you're offering the program and you're partnering with two banks, but we have only heard from one bank. Are we going to hear from the other bank that you partnering with? You said National Bank and Republic Bank. Right? Are we going to be hearing from Republic Bank? Because their rate may be different, their interest rate may be different, and we're interested in knowing, the difference.
Well, the intention was that a general sense of what the banks need to do for ECPCGC would be given to you. Of course, there are differences. The requirements would have been ECPCGC requirements and bank requirements there across the board. But I don't want to put my colleagues on the spot, but I can ask very nicely. I have Davis and Stanley here. If there's anything to add, and Vinny, guys. I'm sorry.
Come to our bank, come to Republic, and we will see.
Look. Yes.
We need to pick you up on Emu.
Good evening, Stanley. Yeah, boy.
Respect to the ECPC condition that applies to us, to our condition. It's legal, but also like basis. What you need to do, but the risk very based on the request. But it's always there.
Yes. Thank you, Stanley. Yeah, yes, very important point. Now, there's so much information. Sorry, guys. Employment creation is, we keep a lot of statistics. The Caribbean, we are not information savvy. We're trying to write that by keeping a lot of statistics on what we do. So we look at creation of jobs. We look at growth. We look at whether the business would have qualified for a guarantee, qualified for the loan if there was no guarantee in place. We look at the growth in business. We look at the number of women businesses that we are lending to. What else? The economic impact of the business. We do also, we look at sector, and we look at, I think we look at everything. To put it in a nutshell.
Good afternoon to each and everyone.
Hi.
I came in as late, so I don't even know what I'm doing there, by the way. But I listen to everybody at the same time, so I pick up but I heard you say you are not financing those that are doing it wrong. Yes, well, I happen to be one of them.
It's not personal, huh? It's not personal.
You're wrong, also. But you say welcome to all small business owners. I thought I was welcome to this place, but I was see that. Alright, so my question is, what about if somebody like me, for instance, I am working in the tourism industry. So somehow we must sell wrong. They love it by you, so give the people what they love, so they can sell you, right? Okay, and they love me very much. So what I'd like to say is that I'm also manufacturing. Okay? So 70 to 80% of what the tourist is consuming in my place is done by me. I have 44 employees, right? And everybody is working on every single fruit on the island. But we are also transforming those fruits into rum punch, but also vinegar, also syrup, also juice, also smoothies, also whatever. So somebody like me, is it going to be confusing if I want to load? because it's going to have to do wrong at the end of the day.
But
it's not just wrong.
Well, right, but that's where you have the edge, because it's not just rum.
But also the statistics that I did, because I also have a spice shop where I also present every fruit or coriander or whatever the island has to offer. But I also put it in rum.
Yeah.
And it's the best way to preserve it.
I know, but what we are saying is that we have a cap on how much money you can make from rum to qualify for the guarantee. So we would look at an analysis of your business and see how much of the money you're making is from rum, how much from the smoothie and the other things. Well, it's a 10% cap, eh? 10% of, no more than 10% of your revenue must come from the sale of the rum products. That's a rule that we can't bend.
So, for instance, I give the vision and the goal. Okay? The vision and the goal is not to sell rum. It's not to even be in the tourism industry. The vision and the goal is these people, which is in the tourism industry, these people, they have the money that I need in order to purchase the equipment I need in order to see no longer one mango, one grapefruit, one strawberry flower go to waste in my country. So I need these people to get the money to buy the equipment so that I can use all the resources in my country, bottle, package, whatever you want to do with it, manufacture, and then I can take my country to another level. So the state of rum is just another strategy to get there. And the syrup and the jams and the whatever I do, it's just part of the strategy to get there. But the big block is, at the end of the day, caring for my island, caring for my people, and taking them to another level and leaving a legacy for the next generation, knowing that these resources that we have is not only a God bless. That's why I'm bottling my own water also. I don't just do rum. I also give people water to drink. See? So all these things put together, I think we should more like concentrate on, before we give any loan to anyone, know what's their why. Where are they going with it? What do they want to do with it? Because many loans we have given to people, 14,000, 15,000, they all run away to Miami and so on with the money. Or they went first to Barbados, to get the visa, and then they say they were going to purchase, clothes and shoes and whatever, and we never heard of them anymore. So that's why our country is exactly where it is. So then we need to know, and I would love you, for instance, you leave me alone, I would ask you, please, ask me where I'm going before you let it go in my hand. Otherwise, I don't want it. But if I explain to you that this is my country, this is for the betterment of the situation in my country, because I am working with the 44 employees, but I have to see to it that I care for the family. Because without them, I have no promise. I'm there, no water, no banana, no nothing.
True.
And then I'm working with the fishermen at a very good scale. Every week is like $12,000 to $15,000 a fish. So we are caring for the fishermen, we are caring for the people, for the farmers, we are caring for everyone. That's our main goal. So in a case like this, my problem. Are you going to invest in someone like only 80% of what I do for now? Part of my strategy to get the money at 80% is all wrong.
Okay, what I did mention that we do things on a case-by-case basis. So it is something that has to be looked at and analyzed before we can give a yes or a no. But I'm giving you what is the restriction that we have. It's not our restriction. World Bank is funding the majority of this, and they have restrictions imposed, and then by all the Islamic countries and all the countries in the world, we just have to adhere to those. We can't do smoke shops either. Same thing, we can't do that either. We had to turn down an application the other day for, what do you call the thing again? The vape and the thing with the hookah. Yeah, we had to turn it down. So that's the nature of the game. But as I said, we can do an analysis and we can look. If you have records, you must have records for us to do the analysis. We can look at it and we can see what's taking place and we can make a decision on that. But just taking it in general, we can't do that. It must be done analytically.
Okay, so if no more questions, you still have the opportunity when we're done to make you come in the employees of Republic Bank and National Bank to just have some conversation. Take that opportunity to network also.
Yes.
I will now call on Nisbet to
vote of thanks. Vote of thanks.
All right, guys. So thanks for coming. My job here is just to thank everybody, and we have some refreshments here somewhere outside. All of them in the back here for you guys. So be sure to network. If you have any questions, you can talk to anyone here, including myself. And just shoot us an email at info@ecpcgc.org if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes, so that's very important. If you have further questions, inquiries,
info at
ecpcgc.org, right?
Yeah.
.com. Okay, so info@ecpcgc.org. So if you probably just, I get to have a meeting with Carmen and this week, you have an opportunity to email them. So thank you very much for coming. I've done packet snacks. So you see, when I invite you to a meeting, please come. I start on time, and I do not have a lot of attention span. So I am all under half. I already want to go. So I end on time and I always have snacks. So always come to my meetings, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. The snacks, the director will grab a sample for the
Good afternoon, viewers, and this has been the ECPCGC Townhall meeting here in Roseau, Dominica. Thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you for being attentive. Thank you for being with us tonight, and have yourselves a wonderful evening.